hate it when things aren't fair, don't we? Like it's one of the earliest things we learn. Children very quickly develop a sense of fairness, of right and wrong, and they know when they're being screwed over. Look, if you don't believe me, try giving one kid 10 sweets and another one 5, and you'll soon see what I'm talking about as they squabble about who's got what. Look, that sense of fairness never leaves us. It's why we like stories when the good guys beat the bad guys. Because the bad guys, they deserve to lose. They deserve to be caught. They deserve to be punished because they've taken advantage of innocent people. The biggest franchises in movie history, Star Wars and the Marvel Universe, well, they work because they tap into that sense of justice. We want the good guys to win because that's the side they're on. The Avengers come and pay back the bad guys and make everything right. The Jedi bring balance to the Force and stop the universe being swallowed by the dark side. Well, look, back in the real world, look, we find it really hard, don't we, when we encounter undeserved suffering. The old lady who is scammed out of her life savings by a smooth-talking conman. Couples who find out that they can't have their own children. Teenage girls being trafficked across borders into sex slavery. Kids dying of cancer before they reach their 10th birthday. It's not fair, we cry. And it's possibly why you find it hard to believe in a God who claims to be all-loving and all-powerful. Because look, if that's true, then why would he let good people suffer? If good people suffer, then either God is not really loving or he isn't actually powerful enough to stop it. But wait. Before you settle on that conclusion, I want to ask you one question. How do you decide who is good? Look, I guess on one hand, you could throw me some examples of good people. Mother Teresa, Captain Sir Tom Moore, Nelson Mandela. And then on the flip side, I guess you could name some pretty bad people too. Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot. But here's the problem you've got. How do you draw the line? How are you going to divide up all of humanity into two groups, good and bad, so that you can decide who gets to avoid suffering and who doesn't? Look, it's an impossible task for you. But in the Bible, it's easy. The Bible makes it really clear. In Romans 3, it says this: there is no one righteous, not even one. There is no one who does good, not even one. There is no one who is good. The Bible's answer to why do bad things happen to good people is pretty simple. There are no good people. It may seem harsh. What, there are no good people? You're probably screaming at the screen right now saying, you don't know my Nan, she's the loveliest person in the world. You're telling me that she's not good? But you misunderstand what good means. In Mark chapter 10:18, Jesus tells us that no one is good except God alone. That the standard for being called good is to be like God. That means being utterly perfect, completely honest, totally consistent, always fair, never deceitful, full of integrity. That list could go on, and no one can live up to the standard of being good like God. We all know deep down we cannot claim to be perfect. Look, actually, we are naturally selfish and we spend most of our time looking out for number one. We all have to acknowledge that that is true. There are no good people. And so the bad things that happen to us they're fair enough. It's perfectly just. We have no right to be angry about it. Because in fact, they're our fault. Again, the Bible is clear that the suffering that we experience in this life is because we choose to rebel against God. and we live our own way. Ever since Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden, we have all ignored the Creator and made our own decisions. Romans 3 again says, there is no one who seeks God. Well, so far this is pretty depressing, isn't it? None of us is good, and we're all doomed to live a life of suffering because of it. Why should you keep watching this? Well, because there is hope. Because God is all-loving, and he is all-powerful, and he has done something to fix our problem. Look, even though we deserve to suffer, Jesus, God's Son, came to earth and suffered in our place. When he was crucified, he was the only truly 100% innocent person to be punished in all of history. He, in fact, is the only good person who has had something bad happen to him. Now, one of the criminals who was executed alongside him recognised that. He knew that Jesus didn't deserve to die. And what was Jesus' response to this guilty man, to this individual who'd done something in this life so bad that he deserved the worst form of punishment imaginable? Jesus turned to this criminal and said, "Today, you will be with me in paradise." Jesus, the innocent, died in the place of us, the guilty. He rose again on the third day and made a perfect new life possible because he defeated death itself. And if we recognise that, if we accept that we need Jesus' death, just like that criminal, if we believe that he rose again, once this life of suffering is done, we will go to be with him in paradise, a place where the Bible says there is no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. Look, the incredible good news of the Bible is that good things can happen to bad people like you and me, all because of Jesus and his sacrifice for us.